Happy Monday, everybody. I'm meteorologist Ben Dery. Thanks for checking us out on Kare 11 Plus. Well, a lot of us woke up to some thunderstorms late last night. That's probably the reason why a lot of us are on the groggier side this morning. We did see some heavier downpours from the Twin Cities southward, beneficial rain for a good chunk of the region, but parts of central and northern Minnesota didn't really see much of anything. You can see less than 1/10 of an inch of rain for many locations in the northern half of the state, the areas that desperately need it because of all the wildfire activity happening there. Officially, MSP over the last 24 hours, about 1.25 inches of rain. These are all automated surface reports, so just keep in mind your backyard rain gauge might vary. But radar estimates in the south central part of the state see this bright spot south of Mankato. That's where we could have seen anywhere between 2 and 3 inches of rainfall, and most of that fell within a short time frame. So a lot of runoff, but regardless, some beneficial rain. We did see some severe weather across the southern half of the state as well. Nothing in the Twin Cities. We just saw some lightning and thunder, but there were numerous golf ball size hail reports in the southwestern part of the state. And yesterday, between Minnesota, Iowa, and Nebraska, there were over 24 tornadoes reported, but just one of those actually happened in Minnesota. That was this guy right here. That was in the city of Northrop, just outside of Fairmont. There was a short-lived rope tornado, which did not do a ton of damage, if any at all. That was near I-90, confirmed by law enforcement and trained spotters. That happened just after 7 p.m. yesterday evening. And you can see the severe weather threat kind of waned as we headed deeper into the evening and overnight hours. Now, we do have a renewed threat for severe weather today. This is primarily for southeastern parts of Minnesota. The severe weather threat, the outlook, I should say, is in that yellow territory. That's a slight risk for severe weather. So a 2 out of 5 on the severity scale. It includes areas from Albert Lea, Austin, Rochester, the Winona area, La Crosse, Eau Claire. Those areas might see some sporadic wind damage as we head into the evening hours and overnight. One thing to note about the rain chance today, it's really not until the tail end of the day. We're talking the evening hours around sundown and the hours beyond. That's our best chance of seeing some heavier showers and thunderstorms. From the Twin Cities northward, minimal severe weather risk for today. It's just going to be too cool and cloudy for us to develop anything. But these are the specific severe weather threats for today. You can see there is a non-zero chance for tornadoes. It is a low chance, and that risk actually dropped since the Storm Prediction Center first released this earlier this morning. So it's southeast Minnesota, central and southern Wisconsin, the chance of seeing maybe a tornado or two, some hail kind of on the low scale of things, but it's wind damage. That's kind of the elevated risk. You can see that area highlighted in yellow on the right side of your screen right there. Elevated wind threat. What we expect to see happen is storms developing initially over Iowa, and then what's left over of that pushes into our territory later in the day. And you can see on radar this morning, things are relatively quiet. The heavy storms we saw yesterday have basically all but fizzled. We are probably going to stay mostly dry during the daylight hours, just a mostly cloudy sky. It's not until the latter part of the day when those storms kind of redevelop. Now, late last night, we did see some heavy storms over the center part of the country. Still some ongoing convection happening across parts of the Midwest, but otherwise things are relatively quiet. As that activity leaves, the atmosphere will recharge itself, and areas from Iowa through eastern Nebraska and parts of Kansas expected to see potentially a decent severe weather outbreak today. And that activity, what's remaining from that, will push into our area as we head deeper into the evening. So let's take a look at microcast, and we'll highlight a couple of things. Mainly cloudy as we head into really most of the day today. By 4 o'clock, some showers starting to develop across western Minnesota. Non-severe stuff, just some lighter shower activity, probably not even any lightning and thunder on this as well. So this is 4 o'clock, dry for the evening commute. Let's pause this at 9 p.m. Storms again late this afternoon into the evening, developing over parts of Iowa. That activity crossing the Minnesota-Iowa border, kind of shifting that northeasterly direction. So by 9 o'clock, you can see from, Faribault, Owatonna, further south towards Albert Lea, Austin, Rochester, those areas dealing with some stronger thunderstorms. You head deeper into the evening hours. This is 10:30, where the storms cross the Mississippi River into southwestern Wisconsin. And again, some sporadic wind damage is possible here. By this time, you can see the Twin Cities dealing with some heavier showers. Central, northern Minnesota dealing with some heavy rain as well. Maybe a couple of lightning strikes, but this is all elevated stuff, so so the threat for severe weather is going to be fairly limited. That's for the northern part of the state. The rain falling over the fires near the Brainerd Lakes area, as well as eventually up in the Arrowhead, where we still have those ongoing fires as well. Not a ton of rain is in the forecast, unfortunately. We'll see some lingering showers early Tuesday morning, but we dry out fairly quickly, and it does look like most of Tuesday will be mainly dry, but certainly cooler. We'll see temperatures drop from the mid to upper 60s today into the 50s for highs as we head into Tuesday. And also Tuesday is going to be a pretty breezy day as well. There will be a gusty northwesterly wind ushering in those cooler temperatures. And it looks like we'll stay in the upper 50s to low 60s through Wednesday before we see any semblance of a warming trend. That will occur later in the week, where 70s and even a few 80s do make a return. Here's a look at your precip forecasts as we head into the end of the day today. This goes from this morning all the way through Tuesday morning. You can see many of us picking up a quarter to a half an inch of rain. Doesn't look like a whole lot. If we do see some of those heavier thunderstorms, especially again the southeastern corner of the state, best chance of seeing maybe up to an inch of rain. That's if those storms do develop, but they should have some movement to them. So we're not expecting any flooding rains or anything like that. So any rain that we do see is a welcome sight, considering this time of year, we need to be averaging about an inch a week in order to prevent us from slipping into drought conditions. And we started to see that develop during the first half of the month, where we didn't really see very warm temperatures, but we did see a pretty decent lack of rainfall. So what we saw last night, a welcome change, and hopefully we get some decent rainfall as we head into tonight as well. That will lead us into the Memorial Day weekend. That's this weekend, hard to believe, the unofficial kickoff to summer. And you can see Saturday, chance for some showers. It looks like Friday could be a little wet, scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm that lingers into the first half of Saturday. Temperatures in the 70s, and then we warm back into the 80s by Sunday. Sunday looks like a decent day, dry and warmer. Slight chance at a shower on Memorial Day. That's 1 week from today, and heating up. We should be back in the low to mid 80s for forecast highs. As for today, we're going to stay shy of 70. Those evening storms are still looking likely, but the severity of which has really dropped, especially around the Twin Cities. So good news, we'll get the rain without any of the nasty thunderstorms. Northwest wind today about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Notice the cooler air lingering in the northwestern part of the state. That's the cold air that's going to work its way into the region as we head into your Tuesday. So these are forecast highs for tomorrow, feeling a bit more like mid to late April. That's what tomorrow looks like, with a gusty northwesterly breeze. I know a lot of folks were asking, when is that wind finally going to subside? Well, statistically, the months of April and May, they are the windiest months of the year. And yes, we tend to see some strong winds as we change from the spring season into the summer season. Here's how your 7-day breaks down. 68 degrees today, a lot of cloud cover. We should see partial clearing later in the day on Tuesday, with most of the rain chances early in the morning. We should dry out by the end of the day. Upper 60s and more seasonal air returns by the end of the week. And it looks like some rain chances arrive by Friday into Saturday. Doesn't look like a huge chance for rain, but some showers do show up. And again, 80s are back in the forecast as we head into your Sunday and Monday. So if you are just joining us, we did have some rowdy thunderstorms that woke many of us up late last night. This is the 24-hour precip total from yesterday. Around the metro, we saw over an inch of rain, at least out at MSP. Radar estimates south of Mankato, anywhere between 2 and 3 inches of rainfall. Meanwhile, areas in central and northern Minnesota, very little, if any, rain fell last night, so we could certainly use some rain. Looks like we are going to see some more showers and storms later today, but half an inch it looks like at best for northern Minnesota. We could certainly use a little bit more. These are the storm reports from yesterday. Parts of Iowa, around Nebraska as well as Minnesota did see a couple of tornadoes. There were over 24 tornadoes reported yesterday, numerous hail reports, up to golf ball size hail in southwest Minnesota, and one lone tornado report that was just outside of Fairmont in the city of Northrop, a short-lived rope tornado that was north of mile marker 99 along I-90, confirmed by law enforcement and trained spotters. That happened just after 7 p.m. yesterday evening. We did see some pretty sizable wind damage over northwestern Iowa. There were storm reports of wind gusts near 90 miles per hour, but thankfully that was fairly short-lived. We do have a renewed risk for severe weather today, but this time it's for southeastern Minnesota, central and southern Wisconsin. We're under that slight risk for severe weather. The trend has been to push this areas further south and east, so from the Twin Cities northward, less risk for severe weather today. And anywhere in this yellow shaded area, the biggest threat is going to be wind damage. So you can see your severe weather threat list. Chance for tornadoes is there, but it's rather low. You can see in that tan color. Same risk for hail. What we're thinking is areas in Iowa will see the storms initiate late this afternoon, and whatever left from that is going to work its way into our neighborhood as we head into the evening hours and overnight. So there's an elevated risk for some wind damage. Thinking sporadic wind damage is probably what we're going to see for the southeastern corner of the state. This is a look at radar right now. You can see the heavier storms that we saw earlier this morning have now left the area. We are just left with cloud cover. A lot of cloudiness today, and it looks like we're going to stay that way through the afternoon. That'll help to put a lid on our severe weather threat, so that's pretty much a positive. We have some heavier storms moving through the center part of the country. That activity wanes, and in its wake, we see destabilization occur over Iowa, Nebraska, and parts of Kansas. That's where we have a greater risk at seeing severe weather today. In fact, there could be a pretty sizable tornado outbreak for areas just west of Kansas City, where some strong, long-lasting tornadoes are possible. That's what's happening there. And again, whatever left from that is going to work its way into our area as we head into the evening hours. So just to reiterate, today, it looks fairly quiet, kind of like yesterday where we had dry conditions through most of the day and we didn't see rain showers show up until the evening hours and the thunderstorms didn't show up until overnight. That's kind of how today is shaping up as well. This is 4 o'clock today. Notice the cloud cover is pretty expansive and just some lighter showers pushing into the far western part of the state. This is after dark. We're pausing this at 9 p.m. Heavier thunderstorms initiating over Iowa, crossing the Minnesota-Iowa border, and we'll see some of those move through the Albert Lee area, maybe as far north as Owatonna and Faribault, moving eastward for Rochester, Winona, La Crosse. Those areas will see some of that sporadic wind damage. This is 10:30 tonight. You can see those storms pushing into southwestern parts of Wisconsin. A little wet from the Twin Cities northward. Garden variety showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder for central and northern Minnesota. That pushes through the Arrowhead after midnight tonight. Maybe a few early morning showers heading into your Tuesday, but it looks like things are going to dry out fairly quickly for us. Tuesday's mainly going to be cooler with some clearing taking place and also breezy. A gusty northwest wind will help to keep our temperatures on the cooler side as we head into the middle part of the week. As far as additional rainfall goes, it is there, but it's not a ton of rain. Many of us picking up an additional quarter to half an inch. That's from this morning all the way through Tuesday morning. And of course, areas that do see those thunderstorms have a better chance of seeing the higher rainfall totals from southeast Minnesota through southwest Wisconsin. We could see maybe a half an inch to up to an inch of additional rainfall. That'll lead us into fairly dry conditions through the middle part of the week. Next chance for rain shows up on Friday with some scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms. That chance for rain will bleed into Saturday morning. It does look like Saturday, the first half of the day, could be a little wet at times, but not a complete washout. 74 on Saturday, and then the 80s return by Sunday. It looks like drier and warmer conditions as we head into Sunday. Low to mid 80s showing up on Monday, so certainly seeing the warmer conditions show up. And of course, Memorial Day weekend, kind of the unofficial kickoff to summer. A lot of folks will be spending plenty of time outside, and it kind of looks like a mixed bag of things. Like most Memorial Day weekends, we'll see a little bit of rain, but we should also mix in some dry time and also some of those summer-like temperatures as well. Forecast for today, evening storms. While most of the daylight hours will be dry, we'll see cloudy conditions and cooler temperatures. 6 of the last 7 days have been 70 degrees or warmer. In the forecast, we've got 50s and 60s for forecast highs. So we're taking a bit of a step back from the extended summer stretch that we saw late last week. Remember, it was Friday. We had temperatures at 88 degrees, 68 for a high temperature today. Look at northwest Minnesota. That's where the 40s and 50s show up. That gusty northwest wind starts to take over as we head into Tuesday. These are forecast highs for tomorrow. So yes, taking a sizable dip. We're at that time of year where temperatures are averaging. The average high temperatures, I think 70 degrees today. Nowhere near that, and we're probably not going to end up that way until the end of the week. Here's how it all breaks down with your 7-day forecast. Evening showers and thunderstorms, chance for severe weather limited to southeastern Minnesota, clearing and pretty gusty as we head into Tuesday. And keep in mind for kids out at the bus stop, it's going to feel chilly, probably light jackets through most of the day. The wind calms as we head into Wednesday. It looks like a pretty quiet day to be outside. Pretty decent weather as well. Temperatures starting to warm up by Thursday. There's a chance for some showers and a few thunderstorms possible as we wrap up the week on Friday. Some of those showers do linger into Saturday, but those temperatures continue to warm. 70s by the end of the week and then 80s show up by Sunday.